Hello guys and welcome to another video. My name is Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and property investor. In today's video we're talking about when is the best time to buy property. And it's really been spurred on for me to make this video by a couple of comments and a couple of DMs, and it seems like everybody wants to know my opinion on when is going to be a good time to buy property. So Liam Smith, he asked the following comment: when is a good time to buy? He's currently sitting on his money, he doesn't want to be in negative equity when he first buys. I understand that as a comment, I understand why you might think that that's a big risk, especially with property prices coming down a little bit in the last couple of months and with interest rates rising, lots of uncertainty in the market. I can understand why people feel a little bit despondent and don't know what to do. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I can say straight away is I'm a big believer in the following: everything's going to be okay in the end. That saying really has got me through a lot of sticky times, and I kind of chalk it up like this. When people are talking about interest rates that go extremely high, I think to myself, so every nurse can't afford their mortgage anymore, they're all homeless. All the teachers, they can't afford their mortgages anymore, they're all homeless. All the policemen, they can't afford their mortgages anymore, they're all homeless. And then I think, is that possible that our government and our central bank will make that a reality? And the answer is if everybody's fucked, no one's fucked. Because it just can't be allowed to happen. And the same thing happened with COVID. It wasn't allowed that everybody was fucked. Now, were some people affected worse than others? Absolutely. Of course, there is no even keel with this, but assuming you don't put yourself in the riskiest position, you're generally going to be okay in the end. That's my big belief. The people who have the power to be able to pull levers are not going to deliberately crash the economy, deliberately screw up everybody's lives, and still expect to be in office and still go to work tomorrow. It's not going to happen. So when do I think is the best possible time to buy a property? I actually think it's always today. And I think it also depends on the deal that you can get on that property. So I don't care if it's a rising market, whether it's a falling market, no matter what, as long as the deal's good and the returns are good, then that is the best property to buy at that time. Now, I was asked two questions. I was asked one about a residential home. That's a little bit more tricky, but again, if I can make money when I buy it, then I'm quite interested. And what I'm talking about, if we make it down to layman's figures, and we just talk very briefly about a property that maybe has been pitched to me recently, there was a couple of deals that were pitched to me. The first one was, it was 100K, it was a 2-bedroom, semi-detached house, and it was going to be bought for around about 100. There was some negotiation, 102 or something like that. They believed comparable sold prices in the area last year of about 110. So you could say that there was about a 10% discount in there if we got it for 100. 102 was a number that was being floated, that'd be about 7%. For me, it wasn't really exciting me in any way, shape or form, right? There's no real built-in redundancy for it. The return on it as a single let was going to be okay. I mean, it's a 2-bed. It was going to generate about 8, 9, 10%, something like that. It didn't really get me excited in any way, shape or form. And then there was another deal that really did get me excited. So that's a good example of something where there's a small discount, not really any much upside on the return on investment, so I'm not really interested in it. The other one that really got me interested though was one where it was going to be somebody who's looking to sell the property. They want to secure the full asking price for it, but they haven't had an offer to that amount at the moment. And I'm not going to give too many specifics on this because this might actually come off as a really good option contract for me, where I will agree to rent it for a period of time. I'll give them the full asking price, but not for a couple of years. Now, I've kind of left that with them at the moment. They're thinking about it. They're moving into a much bigger house. They don't need the money today. It has no mortgage on the property. You know, there's lots and lots of reasons why this might come off. There's also lots of reasons why it might not. So I don't want to say too much and put too many people onto the area. It's listed on Rightmove. It's not a deal where I've got it off market. And this would actually be the first time that I've ever managed to pull off an option contract if it happens. And the reason that I've been allowed to pitch this is because this property has got a high price. There are not that many people who are interested in it at the moment, and the vendor is stubborn on price. They might not be stubborn on time. And they might also understand that I need time to raise the funds. I also want the opportunity to see what happens with the market, right? For me, this is the opportunity for me to go, well, if the market declines by X, Y, Z, I'm not going to exercise my option. However, if the market increases, I'm going to jump in as quickly as I possibly can. So it could be a win-win. They get the opportunity to be able to sell it at the price they want. I get the opportunity to rent it today and see what happens in the future. In the meantime, they're going to get the rental money, which they were going to rent it out anyway. So we're really creating a win-win. Now, if this property here that's worth 110 on the comparables was up for, let's say, if we could secure it for 85k, even 90. Okay, at this point, I'm far, far more interested, right? I'm getting a good discount based on its current valuation. Even if we agreed that, the market's moved down by about 5%, it's currently worth 105, I've got a good discount on that value to bake in some security. Also, my return on investment is going to look much better on the yield. If we run those figures, suddenly I'm getting like 12, 13% ROI. Now that's much more interesting. Also, I've got the opportunity, if the market does move on, refinance. Let's say, for example, we get a little rebound this year and we go up by 10%. Now it's worth 110. I bought it for 85. Suddenly, I'm probably left with very, very little money in this deal. So at the right price, it's always the best time to buy. That has been my experience to date. Now, Tom, you, for example, have said that you wanted to buy your first property, but for you, there's a different challenge, right? It's the deposit, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you came to anybody and said that I can make money for you tomorrow because I've got this great deal in front of me, it is highly likely, highly likely that someone would go in and partner with you. If you could give me a good deal where I know that my money is going to be safe, there's enough money in the deal. Another good example with the house I did in Corby, where I bought it for 110. I spent about 35, 40, let's say 40, because it makes the numbers really easy, and it refinanced at 210 in the end. I know we said at the time it was going to be 180, but it came in at, that was terrible, isn't it? 210,000, there we go, that's better. But there, we made a good 50, 60k of profit. Now, if you had said to me, I need you to invest, 110,000, 25 grand, 30 grand, plus 35, 60, and you get 30, that's a 50% return on money. Within 6, 12 months, that's a really, really good deal. So it tends to be that when there are good deals, money will follow it, regardless of the time. But what I would say is we can always make more money, we can never make more time. So I'm always in a rush to try and bring forward money if I can. I would rather go for a deal where I know, like for example here, if I knew that I got it a bit cheaper, I've got some money to refinance out, I'm going to be able to pull that money forward. So let's say, for example, on this property, we could get about £300 a month of profit, which, if you're watching this channel, that's an amazing return of profit for this sort of purchase price. So let's say we could, that would take us £3,600 a year. And let's say, for example, on this deal, we could negotiate and get a 20k discount and we really got some money in the deal. That would take like literally 6 years in rental profit to make the same that we could make by just negotiating a good price and doing the deal tomorrow. Okay, we've got to go through the refinance stage. We have got our own risks in other ways, but during the time of this, that comes with risk as well, right? Over 6 years, how many tenants are going to go wrong? How many times is this property going to need to be refurbed? Well, if you get a bad tenant, there's lots of risk with that as well. I would much rather be able to pull the money forward if I could. And a falling market, that gives you those opportunities, because when people haven't got the opportunity to sell at the price they originally wanted and they're a bit nervous about the future, then that's the time when you can pick and negotiate deals a little bit better. So guys, that's my take on when the best time to buy a property is. If you want my prediction on what's going to happen this year, I actually think there'll be a small rise. I think we'll probably end up the year about 10% on from where we are now. And I think that will be a mixture of lowering interest rates, increased consumer confidence, and inflation probably being squashed by the end of the year. So I think all those things together, I'm a generally optimistic person. I always believe everything's going to be okay in the end. The alternative always seems too bad to be true, so everything will be all right in the end, and property over the long run will go up in value. So for me, the best time to buy is always now. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Remember, we've got our subscriber dividend portfolio, 7.5 grand in that now. Enter the competition, please. I want to pay the money out to you guys. I've got £3.5 million of property. No.
Why are you saying that?
No, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, Tom. We're just going to say goodbye, shall we, at this point? Sod it. Have a good time. Cheers, guys.